think she broke up. I'm not too sure whether she broke up with him or not.
She should just get a sugar daddy, or maybe she can stick with her own daddy.
Omo. It's love I'm going to blame.
Hello, you're welcome to Gist Arena. All we do is gist, and gist. We discuss topical, trending, and exciting topics, and we have fun while at it. We invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy each thrilling moment of gist, and gist. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Gist Arena, where all we do is gist, and gist. I trust that you've had a wonderful week so far, and you are enjoying your weekend. I am Cynthia, and I'll be anchoring this episode. I am joined here with Ayotunde and our guest, Jennifer. So, hi, Jennifer. Thank you so much for availing us of your presence today to gist with us. I trust that you would have a lot of fun with us today. So, we are discussing a very interesting show called Blue Therapy. I mean, a lot of people have been talking about blue therapy, of recent. For those that do not know, Blue Therapy is a UK show where two couples come to share their relationship issues and problems they're facing in their relationship. They're sharing it with a therapist. And I use the word therapist loosely because, there's been discussion about the fact that the therapist here is not exactly a therapist. She is actually an actress, and that has been confirmed. She's an actress. And so the participants here, I will use participant again because there's been discussions as well on whether the show is real or it is scripted. The producers of the show have come out to say, well, yes, the couple are real, but that the show is obviously, some parts of it are scripted, some is reality, while some part of it is scripted. A lot of people have said, oh, that the show is 100% scripted and all of that. But that's not even our focus today. The reason why a lot of people have been talking about the show is because the issues discussed and raised on the show are issues that just everyday people experience in their relationship, in their relationship life. And so it has resonated with a lot of people. And even if you're not experiencing it, you've heard of people that have gone through or that are going through such issues and stuff like that. So that's what we'll be discussing today. Now, the couples on the show, so there are two couples. The first couple, in no particular order, is Paul and Chioma. They seem to be in their 30s. Their ages were not discussed on the show, but I think they are in their 30s, early 30s maybe, or mid 30s, the both of them. The second couple is Jamal and Deborah. They are actually in their mid 20s, about 25, 27, thereabouts. Yes, those are their ages. I don't know if that will come up whilst we're discussing, but those are just briefly their profile. So Ayotunde and Jennifer, just sort of briefly, what are your first impressions of both couples? What do you think about Jamal and Deborah? What do you think about Paul and Chioma? Just after a few episodes of sort of watching them, what can you infer from the way they have been portrayed, or the way they've portrayed themselves, by the way they've spoken and stuff like that? Let me know, or let us know rather.
Hi, Cynthia. Hello, Jennifer. It's nice to have you here with us. Thank you for coming. Hey, everyone. Hope you are doing great. All right, let's talk Blue Therapy. Oh, well, I had fun watching Blue Therapy. It was interesting, but then I also had mixed reactions. I felt anger, and my anger was basically directed at Paul. From episode 1 to the last episode, I was angry at that guy. I couldn't deal with him. I mean, no, I cancelled him, like, from the beginning till the end. And then, I had some frustrating moments, when you feel like shaking someone, shaking sense into someone or something like that. And then, of course, I can't do that. So, yeah, I had, that moment where I felt frustrated, felt like slapping sense into somebody somewhere, so I had that moment too. And then, of course, I was amazed, at some of the things they were saying, the revelations and all of that. And I was just wondering, hey, Rishi, what's going on here? And of course, I had hilarious moments too, where, we actually really laughed out loud. So altogether, it was fun. It was an interesting experience. Okay, so just like I mentioned, I cancelled Paul from the beginning. I couldn't deal with that guy. Like, that guy was just, he was, I mean, he really, really grated my nerves from the beginning to the end. There was not a moment that I even, felt like, okay, maybe, no, I couldn't deal with him, please. So I cancelled him. Well, though at the initial moment, it felt like Jamel was, the cool dude, the good guy. But then even right from, the beginning, I felt it was sketchy. And it was a little bit too nonchalant for me, considering the fact that it was even the one that asked that he should, come to therapy. I thought it was too lax. It dismissed, a lot of things. It was just too nonchalant. Although Deborah wasn't also making sense at that initial moment, but then I just thought it was too lax. So I wasn't surprised when he showed his true color eventually, I wasn't surprised. Because even right from the beginning, it didn't, it was just something that didn't completely sit right, in my guts about him. Deborah, although eventually, it happened that Deborah was right about certain things, as regards Jamel. But I said then at that initial moment, and I will still say it now, that Deborah, what she needs is a sugar daddy. She needs maybe, all this, maybe a Dangote can help her life or something like that, because all she blabbed about was I buy this for me, buy that for me, you provide this for me, take me to nice, say blah blah blah. She should just get a sugar daddy, or maybe she can stick with her own daddy, because she also, went on and on about, my daddy, he buys me things, treats me like a princess, blah blah blah, and all of that stuff. Maybe she should stick to her daddy, because Jamel, she's not realistic. Jamel is a young guy who's hustling and trying to, meet his needs, trying to find his feet, own his own property, and all of that, put his life together. So where is he going to get the money to, fund a lavish and extravagant lifestyle? So she should just go and get herself a sugar daddy. That's just the thing, because that's it's only sugar daddy that can do the kind of things, that she wants Jamil to do for her. I think she's pretty much too materialistic. And she's just not reasonable. And then, a lot of stuff about her discussing our relationships with her friends, comparing, our relationship with that of her friend, comparing her boyfriend to her friend's boyfriend. I mean, that's too childish. So I think she has her issues, even though Jamel is, well, let's not call names, but then I concluded that Thunder should probably visit Jamel and and Paul. Okay, but Deborah, I think Deborah, Chioma, last, my impression of Chioma is pretty much cool, good, but then it's not like she's without she has her own areas and her own issues too. And for me, I'll just say she needs to work on her, what's it called, her self-worth. It seems like she doesn't even know what she's worth. So yeah, those are my thoughts basically.
Hi, Cynthia. Hello, Ayotunde. Thank you for having me on this episode of Just Arena. I am honored to be here with you both. Talking about blue therapy. I really, it's a really entertaining program that I really enjoyed. I enjoyed watching, even though at some point I felt like strangling someone. Of course, we know who. That's the person of Paul. Paul is what you call a narcissist by excellence. If a narcissist was a person, Paul would fit the description because that guy, he is something else. I watched from the very first episode I watched, I was like, the first thing that came to my mind was, what's this guy feeling like? And when I heard him talk and talk and talk, I felt, oh, it was probably someone walking on Wall Street. He gave that aura of someone who was who was mixed with who is from affluence, wealth and all of that, who is all that, until I got some point, and I realized, oh, what you do is actually fitness, just fitness. And you're feeling like, hello, what are you feeling like? And then Chioma, yes, I love that lady. I absolutely love her. From the very first time I heard her talk, to her poise, everything about her is absolutely everything to love. Because I'm just, the only problem I have with Chama is the fact that she had to settle with someone like Paul. Like, girl, what is the problem? Is having a relationship your problem? Is finding a man your problem? Because this guy shouldn't be with you. This guy isn't someone you should be with. Like, he's the crappiest of crap when it comes to having men or having a man. Like, girl, you need to level up, because at some point I started to doubt her level of confidence. Like, you look like you are smart. You're obviously very, very smart. Like, from the way you carry yourself, your carriage, to everything about you, and you seem like a very confident person. But you being with Paul, girl. Anyways, that's that for about them. And then moving on to Deborah and Jamil. Compared with Paul and Jamal, who are obviously a more mature couple, Jamil and Deborah, on the other hand, are a younger version, a younger couple. And Jamil, the first impression he gave me was, dude, you brought the both of you to therapy. Why did you come late? That was the first thing that came to my mind. After that, what came to my mind as their therapy session went on was, okay, seems like a cool guy, trying to find his faith, trying to make a name for himself, someone who knows what he wants. And then Deborah, on the other hand, she just struck me as someone who's very childish, and by that I mean she struck me as a child living in an adult body. All she was talking and rambling about was, oh, buy me this, buy me that, my daddy does this, my daddy. Like, girl, okay, fine, your daddy used to do that to you, but everybody cannot be your daddy. And if you keep looking for your daddy in everybody, maybe you should go back to your daddy. Because you keep talking, oh, my dad used to do this. Oh yeah, it's fine for you to want to keep up with standards, right? But she also tried to understand that people are different. And she kept comparing Jamil to her friend's boyfriends. Oh, please, if you're looking for someone like your friend's boyfriend, why don't you go get your friend's boyfriend instead of trying to make someone else be like who he isn't? You get, oh, you have to buy me this, you have to buy me that. All I kept hearing was buy this, buy that, take this, take buy, and more buy, and Gucci, and buy, and Prada, and buy. And I'm like, oh, girl, is relationship only about buying and buying and buying? What are you giving? What are you bringing? You know? So I think that's about that for now.
All right. I agree with you guys mostly, on the way that you have perceived the four participants. Paul's ego can be perceived by even a corpse, like it's quite strong. Chioma, I have to say that I agree with Jennifer here. For me, she comes across as someone that has some sort of low self-esteem. But I mean, we'll discuss her much later. Now, Jabal and Deborah, the part where I might differ a bit is with Deborah. Now, and that's what I want us to discuss now. Now, Deborah, she did not portray herself to be what she's not. From the onset, she's shown that she does not bring anything to the table. She's high maintenance. She likes certain kind of things. She says that she's grown up, she was brought up in a kind of way, used to receive gifts from her dad and all of that. And Jamal was aware of this even before he started pursuing her. He saw this, pursued her wholeheartedly, gave her the things that she said she required. Now, at what point did Jamal think that she was going to change? And that brings me to the point of at what point should the line be drawn? Jamal knew what he was getting into. It's not like he did not know. She did not. It was very very obvious that she was, quote and unquote, she had that gold digger vibes, and she did not hide it from him. He knew that. He knew what he was getting into. Did he expect her to just, change all of a sudden? And that's exactly where I have a problem with Jamal here. What do you guys think?
Yes, I agree that Jamel might have bitten more than he could chew because Deborah didn't hide her lifestyle. She didn't hide her expectations. And so he shouldn't have gotten into a romantic relationship with her, knowing that he would not be able to sustain that lifestyle or maintain her the way she wanted to be maintained. And I just think generally people should not start what they can't finish or what they can't sustain. So you meet someone and you've seen things, about them that you think or might constitute some sort of challenge at some point in the relationship or something, you've seen things that that you would not be able to cope with for, a long, long, long time. The best thing is to, just stay away. Don't start. That's just it. And well, if somehow you've started and you've not gone too far and you notice that, oh, this stuff, I want to be able to put up with it, just pull the plug and let sleeping dogs lie. I also want to say that people should not pretend to be who they are not. Don't present yourself as something that you are not. So Jamel also, he started buying stuff for her, expensive stuff, and he knew that he would not be able to sustain that. So maybe he shouldn't have started. There's nothing wrong with, speaking to her, saying, "Hey, girl, I like you," and all of that, but I won't be able to buy this kind of stuff for you all the time. I'll try my best, blah blah blah. Just present yourself as you are, and the person that will like you. The person that won't like you, and there's no shame or blame in that. That's just the truth. Okay. There is not by force thing, that someone must like you. And you shouldn't want it so bad that you will now pretend, to be someone else or something else. And when they now get attracted to that facade, that image that you have presented, you don't want to revert to who you really are, and then you expect them to just, accept, the change. No, it doesn't work that way. Okay, present yourself to people the way you really are, and then the person that likes you will like you. The person that doesn't like you will bounce, and the person that likes you will eventually show up, and then you won't have to keep up appearances and all of that. So I think that that's also important. But then, having said that, it doesn't change the fact that Deborah, you yourself, Cynthia, you said that she has that gold digging vibes or something like that. So let's call it what it is. I still maintain that Deborah should get herself a sugar daddy. Okay, someone that will not expect anything from her because she's not bringing anything to the table. I mean, when Jamel asked her, so what are you bringing, to the table? She got offended, and I was like, excuse me? I mean, it's a two people relationship. Okay, so she's a taker. She's just taking everything from him. She expects him to bring. She's not bringing anything to the table. So she needs to get herself a sugar daddy. It's a sugar daddy that will give her all of that stuff and not expect anything from her in return. But if she has an idea, to be with someone like Jamel, then she needs to throw that fantasy. She needs to throw it out the window and be realistic, or else she should get herself a sugar daddy or stick with her daddy, like I said earlier. And there's also, in fact, let's even, let's be practical. I'm sure she knew what Jamel was doing by the time she was getting into a relationship with him. She knew the kind of job he had. So where did she really expect him to get the kind of money that would maintain or that would sustain our lavish lifestyle? So let's be real. So she knew that he probably, he didn't have that kind of money. Going by the kind of job he did. So where does she really expect, such money to come from? So, she's just she's unrealistic as far as I'm concerned. And of course, all that childish stuff about comparing your relationship and then, telling your friend about every intimate details of your relationship and even the things that are personal to Jamel. She has a long way to go. So that's it. She doesn't know what he's doing her or don't she? Exactly. That's the way, I see it.
Well, I don't think, in as much as yes, Deborah gives off gold digger vibes, but I don't think she is a gold digger. It was the way she was brought up. That is the language she understands. She expects people to keep buying and buying and buying stuff for her. But that notwithstanding, I still think that she's being unreasonable with Jamil. Yes, it's true that Jamil might know that she's a high maintenance chick and he buys her stuff. But the both of them knew each other before they decided that they wanted to get into a relationship. She knows the kind of job he does. He knows the kind of job she does. She knows when I want to believe she knows when he has money or when he's buoyant. And I also want to believe he also knows that, okay, this girl, she likes pretty expensive stuff and all of that. But the issue I have with Deborah now is she's putting a lot of pressure on Jamel. He might be able to afford those stuff. He may not be able to afford them. But I still feel she's putting a lot of pressure on him, coming from the angle of she comparing her relationship to the relationship of her other girlfriends. Like she mentioned, this is her first real relationship or first relationship, like she said. And she's pretty much inexperienced. She doesn't know how it works. She doesn't know what it means to be in a relationship. So she is taking manuals or instructions or cues from what her friends, her other girlfriends, boyfriends are doing for them and expecting that it's going to be the same in her relationship. Forgetting that no two relationships are the same. What works for A might not work for B. What works for B might not work for C. And it's just every man to himself. You just find the right formula for your own relationship, right? But she doesn't want to see that way. She just keeps going on and on about her daddy does this, her daddy does. Yeah, your dad used to do all of that for you, but the person you are getting or the person you are in a relationship with is not your dad. The both of you have been together for a year, and I expect that at least if you've been together for a year, you should know some things about each other, except the both of them are not serious. And Jamil comes off as a serious person to me, compared with Deborah. As a more serious, mature-minded person. That's what I mean. Maybe in other aspects, he might be a jerk on some other aspects, but when it comes to finances, he seems more mature. She just keeps talking. She just keeps talking about buy this for me, buy this, buy that for me, but you are not even bringing anything to the table. You're not bringing anything. You just keep expect. That's not all a relationship is about. That is not all a relationship is about. It's give and take. At least, even if you're not giving equal measures of what you are taking, you should at least be able to give something. But she just wants to take, and keep going on and on about her dad. Yeah, I agree with Ayotunde about she getting a sugar daddy if she's all about that life, because it's obvious she's a daddy's girl. And the way she saw her parents grow up, the dad buying flowers for the mom or taking the mom out on dates and buying stuff for them, spoiling them and all of that. I think it has got a lot to do with how her mindset is shaped. So I don't see their relationship working out, judging from that angle, honestly. So that's my take on that, really.
You know what? Guys like Jamal, last, they need cane. Legit. I mean, I don't deny that the girl no get sense, so, but she was very open with whatever level of stupidity she was coming with and eye maintenance, upbringing. And Jamal, he open in two kuru eye like this, say fine babe. Now carry pen, say na for there gangan. I won't go set up my own space. Last, like Doc said. Na sugar daddy go do am o, last na sugar daddy go do am. Anyways, enough of Jamal and Deborah. Let's move on to Chioma and Paul. Oh my god, they were like, I found both of them interesting. And to be honest, I quickly got over my annoyance and sort of disgust for Paul after the first few episodes. Nothing, that he did or was going to do was going to surprise me anymore. I just continuously got surprised, by Chioma and, the things that she's had to or she's having to put up with because she wants to be with a man. And like I was saying earlier, that it just screamed low self-esteem for on her part, and I felt really really bad and terrible, for her. And we've seen, ladies that are in this kind of situation, like she legit, earlier we were talking about Deborah and what she brings to the table and stuff. This is literally for Chioma now, someone that's, like, she's an all-round beautiful babe. She's working, she's an homemaker, she's legit a take home to mama kind of person, and she's literally just with this jerk that does not value her. And instead of her to literally take her L in peace, she's not doing so. She continues to stick with him. What do you think about their own situation now?
Like I said before, Chioma she's a super confident person, but I think when it comes to issues of the heart or love, like they say now, love can make someone to be mumu. So I think that's what is wrong with Chioma. I think she's a very, very good person. She's determined to make her relationship with Paul work. But unfortunately, Paul does not deserve the attention and the time that she's giving to him. I think it's looking as though she's the one who wants the relationship more than Paul does. Or maybe she's like me, who who doesn't like to who likes to make things work, who doesn't like to give up on things just like that because because things are not going on fine. You want to try to, make it work, fix it, Mr. Fix It or Mrs. Fix It. I think that's what's wrong with her. Thankfully, I don't think I belong to that school of thought anymore. If it's not working, we move. But Chioma is not willing to move. And I think I also understand her because they've been dating for very long. And it's not going to be easy for her to, just leave the relationship and want to start all over again. It can be emotionally draining, it can be time consuming, and all of that. You understand what I'm trying to say now. So, Omo, It's love I'm going to blame. Oh. It's really love I'm going to blame. I think it's love that is wrong with Chioma. And she's a good person. She's a good people from what I'm seeing or from what I'm noticing. And she's not someone who is just going to throw the baby away with the bath water just because it's dirty. No, she wants to just try to make things work and not look at the negatives. She's focusing on the positives and trying to see if something good could actually come out of Nazareth. But this one is not working, oh, unfortunately. Let's pray. We should pray for Chioma like this. Does she need our prayer? Does she need our prayers? Because maybe like I know I said it probably had something to do with her self-esteem or self-confidence. I know I said that earlier, but I'm beginning to have second thoughts about it again. Maybe it's just love that is doing anti-Chiomi.
I believe so much in treating others the way you want them to treat you. All right, it's one of my mantras. Do to others what you want them to do to you. So if I'm getting into a relationship, for instance, into a romantic relationship, now, because that's what we're talking about, I'm going to go into that relationship, bearing that in mind. I'm going to, get into that relationship with the aim of treating my partner right, with the aim of loving them the way I want to be loved, with the aim of treating them the way I want, to be treated. I do not see myself as deserving of anything less than that. So if I have treated you right, I expect you to treat me right. Of course, we're all different individuals and everything like that. So yes, I know that there will be differences in our approaches and stuff. So that's not the issue. The issue is on a general note. Okay, I will treat you right, and you have to treat me right. You treat me, the way that I deserve. That's it. Anything less than that, it's not acceptable, because I am going to go all out to treat you right. If you cannot do the same for me, then let's let everybody maintain their lane. That's just the way I see it. I have never really understood, and I don't think I will understand why two people should be in a relationship. One person is doing, I think I have said this like over and over now, anytime the relationships come up, on this show, I don't understand it. I don't understand why two people in a relationship cannot treat themselves, right, in proportional measures. I don't see why one person, will put all their efforts in it, and then the other person is, just taking them for granted and just doing whatever they want. It doesn't make sense to me. It has never made sense to me. I don't see it making sense to me. And so that's why I really do not understand, and I cannot give an explanation, as to why Chioma will decide to hold on, to the toxic relationship she has, or she had, with Paul. Because, this lady made a life-altering decision just so she could be with this guy, just so she could stick, with him. I don't understand it. This same person, or maybe, this is not the Paul that we, saw. Maybe the Paul that she is really in a relationship with has some other side that we don't know. But if it is this same Paul, that we saw on that show that she made all those complaints about, that same guy, she still went ahead and made such altering, life-altering decision so she could remain in a I don't understand it. That's just the truth. I don't. And that's why I said probably, she needs to upgrade her self-worth. Because if you know that you are deserving of something much more, then you won't settle for less. For whatever reason, I know that there are different reasons why people hang on to, such types of relationships. I just don't understand those reasons. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that people don't have reasons or that their reasons are not valid. For last, it's all about individual preferences, individual differences, and the things that we desire for ourselves. But I've never understood, why someone will hang on to a toxic relationship, all because of what exactly? And we're even talking about a relationship or not marital relationship now, just, dating relationship. And you are hanging on to such, toxicity because of what exactly? I don't understand it. Maybe someone can make me understand, in a way that will make sense to me. But I don't understand it. There is absolutely no reason that I have heard people give that has made sense to me so far. I just simply do not understand it. Maybe I'm the one that needs help, but I don't understand it. It's just nah. I don't.
I agree with what you both have said. I think what shocked me more, and maybe what hurt me, by extension, was to learn that she had an abortion, on one of a child that they were going to have, and knowing fully well, by our conversation, we got to know that she maybe did not wholeheartedly want to do it and all of that. And I was like, for who? For this girl we're looking at. And just like Mayotunde said, maybe there is, the Paul that she's in a relationship with is different from who we were exposed to, or who the show showed us. Because I don't know if anybody would stick with Paul after all that we saw. Anyways, that's their own. So I don't know if you guys heard about the aftermath. I think that's what it was called. The aftermath was the last show, and that was what the last episode that was not available on YouTube. The producers wanted people to purchase see it on, I think, a cable TV and pay for it, something like that, or maybe on their site or something. But anyway, it wasn't readily available. I didn't watch it, but I got the lowdown. So let me just briefly give the lowdown, and we'll just give our opinions on it. I'll start with Jamal and Deborah. So towards the second to the last episode, which was the one that everyone saw, we got to know that Jamal, he cheated on her with a best friend who Deborah, legit thought that, they were just friends and all of that stuff and all of that shenanigan. Anyways, so, we got to know that here, Jamal cheated on her with that person. Now, the aftermath, I hope that what it is called aftermath. The aftermath of the last episode, let me just say the last episode, revealed that Deborah decided, okay, fine, since you have opened our relationship, I'm going to help you to open it up. And she as well stepped out. And so I think she broke up. I'm not too sure whether she broke up with him or not, but anyway, she also stepped out. And then when she stepped out, Jamal came on the show and called her, like, a prostitute or whatever. I can't remember the word he used, but he called her that for actually stepping out on him. And I found that extremely hilarious. So you mean you can dish what you cannot take, like, for real? And this just points back to what Ayotunde just said now, that when you're going to a relationship and you cannot, treat each other right, you're treating somebody
they're trash, and then when they do it right back to you, you're looking like, what's this? I mean, tit for tat, man. I mean, I wouldn't do what Deborah did, but I mean, I'm not raining on a parade in any way. So that's that for Paul and for Deborah and Jamal. Now for Chioma and Paul, you know, or as well towards the episode, the second to last episode, which we all saw as well. We got to know that Paul's sister is a recurring intruder in their relationship. Now, what happened was on this aftermath episode, um, um, uh, Paul's sister begged the producers of the show to allow her call in. She said she told them, she wanted to apologize and everything. Turns out she actually did not apologize and all of that, and went on to insult her, and she was even telling her that, well, that the reason why she was dropping their kids. So there was something that we didn't mention, that we didn't say in discussion, which was the fact that Chioma's sister was always dropping her kids and sort of, and she wasn't cool with, sorry, Paul's sister was always dropping her kids with them for Chioma to look after, and she wasn't really cool with Chioma, and Chioma, that was really getting Chioma annoyed. So Paul's sister was saying that, well, the reason why she was dropping her kids was so that she wanted to help Paul to see that Chioma could be a good mother, and maybe like she's wife material and all of that stuff. And of course, the conversation did not go well. Chioma, blew up and everything like that. I don't find that hilarious. Last, we got to know that Chioma broke up with Paul and everything. Then one shocker again was that after all the high network individual that Paul screamed in our ears throughout the 5 episodes that we saw, we got to know that he wasn't really financial. His finances were down the drain. And as a matter of fact, Chioma has been the one sort of upholding their lifestyles and their existence. And just got me wondering that, what the heck was that? So what exactly in in Jamal's parlance now, what exactly was Paul bringing to the table, aside from his bragging and from his wild mouth? What do you guys think about this last episode? And you can just fill in case I missed anything. Maybe I forgot to mention something that happened in it. But just on the point that I mentioned, what do you guys have to say?
Aha! I said it. I knew it. I knew Paul was just doing too much. I mean, it was obvious that he was really trying hard to compensate for whatever he lacked. I mean, if I got a coin for every time Paul said, my high profile client this, my high profile client that, I would probably be rich by now. He just had to inject that into practically every comment he made, and it was just obvious that he was simply trying to keep up with the Joneses, which was one of the things Chioma complained about. It was just simply, keeping up appearances. Even when the therapist asked him about his job, he said he's a provider. That's what he does. He's a provider. I mean, come on. A provider. And now it turns out to be that he's not even a provider, after all, because from what Cynthia said now, Chioma has been the one, footing the bills, right? Oh my God. And I can't with Chioma again. I can't understand. I can't relate. So, because she said, during the show that she likes that about Paul, that he's a provider. So, okay, let me not jump into conclusions. Probably there were other things that provided in the relationship that she liked, but obviously not the money, but maybe some other things, because I mean, I can't understand. And why would someone put up with stuff like that, with all that issues that she complained about, and then coupled with the fact that the sister would not even let them be. His sister was just stuck right, in the middle of their relationship. It was like a love triangle. And some of the persons I was discussing this with actually said, who knows, maybe they are not even brother and sister for real. I said, so that's another angle, who knows, because we've heard of cases, where people presented themselves as family members, but then it so happened that there wasn't anything, familial about their relationship. So, who knows? Because it's just too much. It's quite frustrating. But then again, and stuff like that happen. So they actually could be brother and sister, and the intrusion is there because Paul allowed it, and of course Chelma allowed it too. Because let's face the fact, nobody held a gun to her head, to stay in that relationship. She chose to be there for whatever reason. So, I mean, I can't relate, but then that's their palaver at the end of the day. And let's go to Jamel. Oh, Jamel, is a perfect example of people who know how to dish stuff but cannot take what they dish. And a lot of people are sitting pretty on that table, in romantic relationships or even in other types of relationships. You can dish it. You can treat another person, how you like. But when same is done to you, even a fraction of, what you do to others, you cannot take that. You cannot accept it. I mean, and then someone will now come and be preaching someone on the mount to the other party, to, please miss me with that BS. Look, it's in my books, it's as simple as ABC. Do to others what you want them to do to you. But by the way, Cynthia, it was his ex that he cheated, with, not even a best friend or anything. Not that it matters anyway, but then, it was his ex. Deborah was, she kept complaining about the fact that he was training his ex and that they were just too close. And, of course, should they say or slow, whatever. Can you imagine? So he cheated. And all along, it made Deborah sound like she was making things up in her head. And now that she decided to do the same thing, he now opened his mouth to say, what? What again? I mean, I better close that your mouth. Close your mouth. What are you talking about? So you can do it, but you cannot accept it. I better take several seats. That's it. Yeah, like you said, I won't, do what Deborah did, because I'm definitely not even, I mean, I'm not that kind of person. That won't be my approach. But you see, like you said, I will not also rain on a parade, because in my books, do to others what you want them to do to you. It's just very simple. If you cannot take it, don't dish it. If you dish it and they give it back to you, in good measure, pressed down and shaken together, because that's how they should actually return it to you. It should be give and it will be given back to you. You remember. So when they do that to you, don't open your mouth to complain. Please, just take it in peace and move on. Thank you.
About Paul's sister dropping off her kids with Chema to look after, that's one I do not support. Like, you hate me, you hate everything about me, and then you still had the nerve to bring your kids for me to look after and say, under the guise of you wanting to know if I'll be able to take care of my own kids. That's nonsense, really. And the worst part of it is that she's not even afraid to show that she doesn't even like Chioma. She shows it. She shows it that she doesn't like Chioma, and then she still goes on ahead to bring her kids for Chioma to look after. Okay, let's see. There's nothing wrong with someone looking after your kids for you. Absolutely nothing wrong. That it's only acceptable if, one, the person is cool with it. Two, maybe you were ill. But this lady is not even ill. The person you're going to drop off your kids with is not cool with it. You drop off your kids with her. when everybody knows that you obviously hate her guts, and then you go on to have fun with your friends, like have a girls' day out or go to the spa, go have fun with other people, even when you know, and when your brother also knows that the both of them were supposed to have me time together, or they have other engagements, but they decide to inconvenience some other person to make yourself comfortable. That's really selfish. And I like the fact that Chioma called her out for her BS. Along the line, Chioma called her the B word, which made Paul very furious. You know, that's really crazy. I totally do not support that at all. And I'm also happy that Jamal eventually got to dump Paul, because their family is not just it at all. She's more than she's giving herself credit for. She deserves more. She deserves better. She doesn't deserve Paul and all of his BS. Really, she doesn't deserve it at all. And I'm really, really glad that she has dumped him and his bag. Yeah, everybody has baggage. I quite understand. But I like the fact that she has decided that this particular baggage, I'm not done with it. I'm not going to go on and ahead with it. With what your family is doing that I'm not cool with, and you do not want to change, please carry your load and pack your load and go. You understand? So I really admire her courage for that, because it's not everybody who will have it's not everybody who would have invested a lot in such a relationship and then have the what's it called, the courage to walk out. It's really courageous for her, and I'm happy for her that she's able to walk out of the relationship with her head held high, and her self-esteem still intact, because that kind of person, but as in the person of Paul, he can drive you crazy. He can make you look like you're a stupid person. Meanwhile, clearly what you know what you're doing is right. You know what you're doing is correct. You know what you're doing is sane. But he will make you feel like you are going cuckoo. Meanwhile, he's the one at fault, and he will try to make blames or make you feel like what you're doing is wrong. And Chama certainly most certainly doesn't deserve that at all. She doesn't. So good for her. Good she walked away.
Thank you so much, Ayotunde and Jennifer. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. And with that, we've come to the end of another episode. If Blue Therapy does decide to come up with a second season, which I don't know why I think they will be. I mean, the first one, there was a lot of public reception, so I mean that should sort of motivate them to do. And the fact that they also discussed issues that come up regularly in people's just normal everyday relationships. I think a lot of people were able to connect, and that was why they had a lot of viewership on the show. So if they do come up, I mean, we'll be here to discuss as well. Thank you so much for listening to us on this particular episode. We look forward to having you on our subsequent ones. Please follow us on Instagram at Gist Arena, ending with a double A. So Gist Arena with a double A. And on YouTube, we are Gist Arena. Please subscribe to us and watch all of the episodes that we have uploaded there. Thank you so much for listening to us today. Please enjoy the rest of your weekend and have a lovely one. I remain Cynthia. Bye. Thank you so much for joining us on today's episode of Gist Arena. We hope you enjoyed the topic discussed. Please drop your comments and let us know what you think about it. We'll definitely love to hear from you. Until next time, bye!